Hello 8th graders, this is lesson chapter 5.5b, finding unknown lengths in similar figures. We're going to be working with some of the ideas that we covered in 5.5a, only applying them to specifically finding unknown lengths in similar polygons. Now you have to understand that in this lesson, the figures that you see, you can assume are supposed to be similar. The first thing we do, if we look at example A, step 1 is to set up corresponding sides to help find the proportion. Now usually we do this mentally, but this first example I'm going to do on the board. Now if you'll notice, the quadrilateral WXYZ is not in the same orientation as the quadrilateral ABCD. Now you have a choice of either figuring it out that this corresponds to this, or you can trace figure WXYZ and then kind of rotate it around. Most people kind of do it mentally, so I'm going to take those lines back out. Now, AD is a long side that goes from a slanted side, that kind of connects a slanted side to another right angle side. So AD is going to be corresponding to WX, and AB is going to correspond to WZ. From there, we usually, step 2 is to substitute the known numerical values. That's usually where we start right away. And then we go on step 3 to solve the proportion. So if I can extend a little bit here, okay. I know both AD and WX, so I'm going to choose to use that, and I'm going to have a tendency to go left as numerator and right as denominator. Now remember, we do not want to set up this ratio within the same figure. So I'm going to take AD, which is 24, to WX, which is 16. And I'm going to set that equal to, and I'm trying to find n, and the 13 from the left-hand quadrilateral corresponds to the n. Now again, you're probably wisest to reduce that 24 over 16. So I can take an 8 out of both of them. The numerator becomes 3, the denominator becomes 2. Now I use my cross products. 3 times n is 3n, and 2 times 13 is 26. I'm going to divide both sides by 3 because 3n equals 26 is a one-step multiplication equation. Now, when I do the division, when I do the division of 3 into 26, I'm going to get 8, 24, and a remainder of 2. Now your instinct is to do that with a calculator, and you're going to get a 0.66666666666666667, and you're going to want to put 8.6 repeating. But in measurement, repeating decimals really don't have meaning. 2/3, however, has meaning. If this were a foot, for example, I know what 2/3 of a foot is. It's 8 inches. Now here's where I express this particular quotient as 8 and the remainder 2 over the divisor. So it's 8 and 2/3. Now you'll notice that in the problem they never gave us if it's feet, inches, centimeters, meters, miles, whatever. So at this point I need to put in the label units, and you're going to find that happening more and more as you go through math 8 and on into high school math. Let's move on to example B. The original figure is the figure on the left. And the problem is, it's what we call an inscribed figure. Triangle EDC is actually inscribed within triangle BAC. So what I usually do is I redraw it, which I've done over here on the right, as triangle ABC and then triangle DEC. And it makes it a whole lot easier to set up your proportions. Otherwise, I sometimes get, especially if they give you a measurement for B to E, I'll get that as your whole length, and that can't be possible. So I usually redraw them, and I recommend to my students to redraw them as well. Now here again, I can see that BC corresponds to EC, so 24 corresponds with 16. The 18 corresponds to Y. Now again, I'm going to reduce that 24 over 16. I can take 8. 24 divided by 8 is 3. 16 divided by 8 is 2. 3 times Y is now I do cross product, and 2 times 18 is 36. If you do not have 2 times 18 in your mental math arsenal, I would suggest you learn to put it there fast, because that one's used a lot the rest of the school year. Now here again, what do I have? I have a one-step equation. 3y equals 36. I am going to divide both sides by 3. Now remember, that's the same thing as multiplying by the reciprocal of the coefficient. 36 divided by 3. 3 divided by 3 is 1. 6 divided by 3 is 2. This time they tell me that my measurements are in feet. So my answer here is 12 feet. And that concludes lesson 5.5b, Scouting Out.